my favorite parts of going through the neurocoaching certification process was learning how to tap into your intuition. Before, I knew that, I had a strong gut. I'd have friends call me and be like, I need to know what your gut says. But I didn't realize that it really truly was like my spiritual connection and a guiding light for me. And so being inspired, going through neurocoaching and also seeing how it has had an impact on my family, because as I was going through this, our daughter was severely struggling with depression and social anxiety, and it had gotten to a point where she had suicidal thoughts. And it was really neurocoaching that changed our lives, not just hers, not just mine, but our entire families. I'm Tracy Adams. I am a teenage mentor, and I am a neurocoach. I was a meddler. I created triangles everywhere, and I did not know it. And I know for sure that back then it was 100% with a heart of service and with love, because I'm not a mean person. However, I have learned my place, and not always, I still step on myself, but I am more cognizant of not creating triangles. One of the things that I just love about neurocoaching, it's not just the energy work, but it's also really understanding the subconscious and how much power and influence it has over people. And when I see weird things that Tracy 1.0 would have wanted to get her hands in the middle of, now Tracy 2.0 will be like, that's really interesting. And that's usually where I start. I thought I had really good self-awareness and was thoughtful in the actions that I took and how I handled life, however it came my way that day. But it's so much more now. I don't have adult temper tantrums anymore. That's really the best way to describe it, is anything that wasn't planned, or I was not quite prepared to handle that day, I would just have an adult temper tantrum, and I would be flippant in my actions, or very terse and robotic in how I was doing chores around the house, or how I was interacting with my children or my husband or anybody else that I was working with. Just being passive aggressive and not even realizing it. And it didn't get me anywhere. And it also, perpetuated issues within my family. My kids were scared to talk to me. They weren't sure what they were gonna get when they weren't sure what are we gonna walk into today, because, mom's been home working today or what have you. And it wasn't like that anymore. Prior to working with you, which is what made me go into the Neurocoaching Institute, because you had such a positive influence on my life, I always assumed someone was after me, what was their negative intention, or what are they trying to cause? And so learning, assume positive intent, and so I do. That has been life-changing just in and of itself. But then also being able to stay curious and see, I wonder what makes them respond that way. Really felt called to create something for teens that are really struggling, and the rate of mental and emotional problems that teens endured went up so exponentially with COVID. And then, we took them out of quarantine and threw them back into school, where, they kind of got comfortable hiding behind their devices, and it was hard. It was really hard. I've had the privilege to talk to many school nurses, and they all say, I'm more like a mental health counselor. than a school nurse. I've created a program for not just teens, but for their families as well. And I'm a teenage mentor and I'm a family coach, because it's not just the teen that's struggling. Like, my daughter didn't struggle on her own. We all did. I'm like kind of getting choked up thinking about it. And that's probably why I have done what I've done, is because I know what it's like to wonder, how can I help my kid? She and I have a very special relationship, and it's my prayer that moms of teenage daughters can experience what I have had the pleasure of experiencing. And she showed a keen interest in what I was learning. And it turns out that she is a very strong empath, so she really feels what other people are feeling. It gave her confidence in interacting with friends and other students, either whether it was through social media or in person in school. But then she also didn't spend as much time in her room. And then she really started to share with me things that she was passionate about. It started with her saying, like, I know I like anime. I really want you to watch this one with me. And so I did. And she never would have had the courage to ask me to do that. And I don't think she would have been able to endure my emotions next to her as I laid on the couch and tried to wrap my head around what I was watching. Because, I now love watching these shows with her, but I remember, like, anime, they do these weird things. Like, you see the character normal, and then all of a sudden they, like, have this crazy face, and all they're doing is responding to someone saying, no, you don't have to pay me. And I'm like, I'm trying to understand it all. And she's like, calm down, Mom. And so it opened up a way for her and I to connect, and myself to be able to connect with her friends as well. And that's been really important, because, teenagers, as they are getting older and entering adulthood, they're taking like that core connection that's the family and at home, and it's transitioning over to friends and peers. And it's really important to them that they know that you accept their peers, or you approve of who they've chosen as their peers. That goes a long way.